Just got a ton of really sick parts for the Hunter 350 from Royal Enfield's. Coming up, Fast Lane. So let's go ahead and get the fly screen installed on the Hunter 350. Before we do this, I want to give a little disclaimer. This is do at your own risk, blah 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 blah. But it's also a job that you are absolutely capable of doing. You can do it! Okay, this is not a hard job. This is like level 0.5 out of 10 on jobs you're gonna do. It's not hard to install. And I'm gonna walk you through it every step of the way. Now, if you need a little more instructions, Royal Enfield does something that's actually really super cool on their packaging. You're gonna notice something. Right here, well, that says Royal Enfield Official, but right here, you'll see that there's a little QR code right there. Well, that is going to help you. You just take your phone, scan that, hit the little link, and it's gonna take you to Royal Enfield's website, and it's gonna show you all their bikes, I think pretty much all of them at least, and it's gonna give you an accessory list, how to install, just complete PDFs of how to do it. Might be helpful for you, and it's also gonna give you all the torque specs, which I'm not gonna give you today. So let's talk about the tools you're gonna need. There are a few things you're gonna need for this project. You are gonna want a 6mm Allen key or wrench. This one I've got on a socket. It's a socket style, and I actually love doing this side. You're also gonna need a 12mm socket. I've got that on a little extra wrench there. That's pretty handy. 12mm, I call it a box wrench. Some people call it a spanner, but whatever. 12mm one of these. 10mm as well. And you're going to need a Phillips screwdriver. Doesn't seem that hard, does it? Before we get started, I want to emphasize one thing. Make sure when you're doing a project like this that you're always taking your time, so just slow down a little bit, relax, and protect your bike. Anything that you're putting any value in, you don't want to mess it up, okay? So you don't want to like put a fly screen on this thing and end up messing up your fender, for instance, in the process, or dropping and breaking your headlight. So take your time, slow down. One thing I really encourage is to cover up the parts of your bike that might get dinged if you drop like a bolt or a wrench or something. So we're gonna cover up this fender first thing. Okay, so first things first, we are gonna get the headlight off of here. You're gonna need your Phillips screwdriver to do that. There's a little screw right here and a little screw right here underneath. So go ahead and take your Phillips screwdriver and remove those and set them off to the side. Okay, next thing is just simply to remove the headlight. So very carefully, pull it out, set it down. Next thing is you're gonna wanna remove these clips from the headlight. Let's pull that black one out. This one's got a little tab, clip it, pull it up. Set that off to the side. Now we're gonna wanna take our 6mm ratchet and we're gonna undo these little bolts that are on the sides of the headlight. Watch that you don't lose the washer and the nut in the process. Take that off, set it to the side. Do the same thing on this other side. Now, if that nut's a little bit tight on the inside, you might need to use another 12mm to loosen that up. Mine are pretty loose, so it's no big deal. Next thing is pretty simple. You basically just gently pull these indicators off to the side like that. There's a little sleeve right here that comes out. Save that, we're gonna use that a little bit later. And now on the inside of these indicators, there's another little nut, and then that's a little 12mm, so we're gonna use this guy on that. All right, take that, set it off to the side, pull this back a bit. This is basically gonna release, and this is gonna come right out of this little housing, okay? Just like that. You wanna be able to see this little tiny wire right here. Not where it's got the covers on it, but just the actual red and white wires themselves, okay? We're gonna do the same thing on this side. Save that, set it off to the side. There we go. Next thing we want to do is we want to grab our brackets that are actually going to hold the windshield. And if you'll notice, you've got two different ones here. And you want this little area to actually point towards the headlight. Where the fold is right there, you want that to fit just like that, okay? So that's pointing towards the headlight, and this one is same thing, but the opposite side. You'll also notice there's a nice smooth finish on this side where this side has like a lip to it. Yep, you want that all on the inside. So these are gonna basically go just like this on the outside of this plastic housing here of the blinker kind of cover area here, okay? We've decided which one of these is the right one for which side, and you'll notice here where this little opening is right there. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little tiny like extra opening right there. See that right there? Right above them? Yeah. We need to get that wire right through there, and you're gonna have to go right on the red and yellow wire, not on the rubber cover that's, you know, kind of covering it all, the sleeve. So you're gonna take this and you're gonna go right down here like so. And you want to make sure that little red and white wire sleeves right in there real gentle. Then that back bolt from the indicator goes right through there. All right? Does that make sense? Awesome. This guy is going to line up just like that. I'm going to get it right back through the little opening here. All right, you just want to get this guy basically finger tight, okay? That way you've got room to put your spacers in over here and your little sleeve. So this little sleeve we took off earlier goes in between the new bracket, just like that. Hold that in, then grab your spacer, put it in between. There you go. And then your bolt to hold it all together. And now you can see it's coming in on the inside there. But before we get that all tightened down, we need to get this back indicator, see how loose that is? We need to get that one tightened down first. So let's get that tightened down first. Beautiful. See how everything just sleeved in there perfectly? There we go. Just so we're clear, between this piece of the bracket and this plastic piece, you've got this original sleeve that's coming out right there, see there? And then the spacer. This is all fitting between here, between the new bracket and the plastic, and then the bolts going through all of it, okay? So this is gonna go through here. And we're gonna push it right back into here. There it is, you can see it right there. Then we're gonna put our washer and our nut. Finger tight at the start. Line it up. In case you start to cross there, you can back it off. And this one's a little bit different because out here now, this is a 10 millimeter. So hold that, and then you can just ratchet this one down from the inside. Look at that. You got one side on. Let's get this one finished up on this side. All right, so we've got this nut already finger tight that's coming off of the bolt that's from the indicator. So that one's finger tight. So we've got enough play there to put our sleeve back in between the bracket and on the outside of this plastic. There it is. There's the sleeve. And now the spacer on top of that. All right. The bolt that came with your kit, just to hold it all in place so it doesn't fall out. Then we're going to jump back here and get this one on the indicator, the bolt on the indicator, which is a 12 millimeter, all tightened up. There we go. Kind of use my finger there to hold the socket as I'm tightening it. As you can see, everything else starts kind of coming in to alignment there. That guy's tight. Pull that guy out. This guy's gonna sleeve back into here. The washer from earlier and the nut from earlier where we took this all off. Spin that on. Now remember, this is 10 millimeter on the outside now, 10 millimeter here, 12 millimeter on the inside. Snug that all up. Now there's probably torque specs and everything on Royal Enfield's PDF. You can check it out. It's tight. Look at there, we got the brackets on. How easy was that? Let's go ahead and put the headlight back on. Grab your headlight here. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna reattach this black piece. Then this gray one just snaps right in. Make sure it's got a curve to the top. Make sure they go in right. It'll snap. This has a Royal Enfield logo right on it. That should be at the top. You should be able to find and feel that. It should snap right in, about where you want it. All right, that's there. These little guys are gonna go back in under here with a Phillips. Gotta kind of line it up. Sometimes you gotta pull it out a little bit to look where we're at. A little high there. There we go. Got that one. Just kind of snug it. We won't tighten it all the way till we get the other side in. This side under here. Found it easy. Sometimes you got to fight with them just a little bit, you know. These ones went in really, really easy. Just so they line up, and you know, my eyes, sometimes it's a little hard to see down in these areas. Tighten that sucker up. That's good. Make sure this guy's nice and tight. We are good. Look at that. Last thing we got to do is get the fly screen on. So there's just a couple simple steps to this. There's some little rubber grommets that need to go in these holes. So just take these little guys and just kind of slip them in there. Sure, they kind of like flush out on the other side. Same thing over here. It's like so. It's all kind of equalized. One more. Look how dirty my hands are. Ugh. Oops. Don't do that. Don't want to scratch it up. And there you go. Last thing is, you've got these little metal sleeves and the little bolts. These guys are the only exception to the other sizes, 3 millimeter Allen. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put one of the sleeves in right here. I'm gonna line up my bolt. Careful you don't scratch this on anything. And just basically put it through and finger tighten the first one. If I can find it. Don't get old, guys. Yeah, it's no fun when you can't see anything. Oh, real quick, one thing I want you to notice is these are flared out. These are not flat. They don't need to be flat. The screen is curved, okay? So they're supposed to be kind of angled like that, so there's nothing wrong with it, just so you know, all right? Here's the first one. Finger tight. Hang on to this so it doesn't slide and scratch the back or anything. If I could see anything, it would be helpful. I think I'm gonna have to get some glasses. Finger tight that one. Next one here, there's your sleeve, there's your bolt. Big important thing is if you just start to feel it cross-threading or something that feels weird, just back it out a little bit, man. Don't force it. Back it out, redo it. One last one. Your little 3 millimeter Allen, and you just tighten them up. Everything looks perfect, everything looks good. Be really careful when you're doing this that you don't scratch your headlight bezel here or the fly screen with your Allen wrench, okay? See how close that is? Don't want to scratch that. Just kind of tighten everything down. We use 2 hands so we don't mess anything up. There we go. Doesn't have to be too overly tight. You can always go back and you can check this out later. There you have it. That's how you put your fly screen on your Hunter 350. 2 last things. We need to make sure the headlight and the indicators are all still working. So let me grab the keys. We'll turn it on. We'll check everything out. And then we're gonna shine this up a little bit with a little bit of wax so it doesn't get scratched up the first time we ride. All right, be right back. Okay, so here is the keys. Now, You're gonna be able to turn your blinkers on with just the key on, okay? The headlight's also gonna come on if everything's right, but the one thing you're not gonna be able to do is you're not gonna be able to, that's the horn, you're not gonna be able to hit the brights, okay? So, without starting up the bike. Make sure your bike's in neutral, start her up. And make sure you're not in an enclosed split space. Now, those are working, everything's working, everything in the back's working, yep. Now you can turn that headlight, see there, to bright. And you know you're good to go. Let's shine up the fly screen. The last thing to do that's a really good idea is to shine up the fly screen with some wax so bugs don't stick to it, and the next time you go to clean it, you don't scratch it all up. This is just Meguiar's Quick Wax. You can spray it on wet or dry, and pretty much, we'll use this guy, wipe it on, and use a microfiber cloth to do all this, okay? You don't want to scratch things up. That'll take all the little swirls out of it real nice, and just kind of let that sit for a minute.
5 minutes later.
Take another fresh microfiber, wipe it off. Ooh, doesn't that look pretty? You know, one thing I really like is this little Royal Enfield. I don't know if you can see that little logo right there. That's how you install a fly screen on your Hunter 350. I think it looks awesome. Let's take it outside and check it out. Guys, I want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. If you do something for me, if this kind of stuff is helpful and you enjoy it, would you hit the like button for me? Subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and comment below. Tell me what you think of my new fly screen. You ought to get a fly screen for your Royal Enfield. I'll see you next time. Fast lane. Oh, I made that look easy, but I had a couple issues along the way. You know what I mean? It deserves a little. Yeah. Don't drink and ride. No, I'm gonna ride it later.